There are so many cartridges out in the marketplace today, and it's really tough to determine which cartridge is right for me. A lot of it has to do with what animals you're hunting, what distances you're shooting, what platforms you're shooting on, whether it's a bolt gun, a break open gun, and a lot of it has to do with the time or the era that you purchased your firearm in. In 2007, Thompson Center introduced his first bolt action rifle. This is it. This is the Icon bolt action rifle. And in 2007, Thompson Center also introduced the 30 TC cartridge. Actually, Hornady did the introduction of this cartridge. They worked in collaboration with TC to build a new cartridge specifically matched for this rifle. Now this is a standard 308. As you can see here, the 30 TC is a little bit shorter than your 308. So why go with the 30 TC? Well, back then, powders were starting to come up with different innovations in technology and chemistry. So Hornady was able to do some things back in '07 that couldn't be done previously. So the 30 TC shoots about 180 feet faster than a 308 and on par with the 30-06. So you were able to get the performance of the 30 TC equivalent to a 30-06, which is basically a 3,000 feet per second for a 150 grain bullet. So you could run a smaller platform, have a shorter bolt stroke, and have a more efficient cartridge with less recoil because you actually had less powder in the cartridge. So this is a proprietary case that was developed by Hornady, very similar to the 308 Marlin Express that they developed for their lever gun. Very similar in dimension there. So why is this case important? Because a lot of people have not heard of the 30 TC. And unfortunately, when Smith & Wesson purchased Thompson Center, they ended up prioritizing bolt guns like the Venture and the Compass, and the 30 TC along with the Icon got put onto the shelf. So a lot of people have not heard of the 30 TC, but I bet you have heard of the 6.5 Creedmoor. So what does a 6.5 Creedmoor have to do with the 30 TC? Well, look at those two side by side. The 6.5 Creedmoor parent case is the same parent case as the 30 TC. So go back to 2007 when Hornady was in development of this case. They knew where they were going with this. They knew they wanted to make a rim version for lever guns with the Marlin case, and they knew they wanted to make a long-range, super accurate platform, which could have been called the 6.5 TC. I don't know. It was called the 6.5 Creedmoor, but is based off the 30 TC parent case. So a little bit of a history lesson there. So many people understand the efficiency of the 6.5 and the aerodynamic 6.5 bullet, and then you put it in this short, little bit fatter case here. It's super efficient, very low recoil. Everything is optimized for long distance shooting as well as medium game performance. So today, we broke a gun out of the archives. So this is an Encore, not an Encore Pro Hunter. This is a Gen 1 Encore. You can tell by the hammer right here. It does not have the swing hammer on it, but this one actually came out of the custom shop. So you can see the color casing here is absolutely gorgeous. So this is one of one, a high luster barrel. And this barrel, believe it or not, is 22 inches long. So this gun is perfectly balanced and chambered for a gun like the 6.5 Creedmoor. It's light, it's fast, it carries well, and it's gonna be super accurate. So let's go take this one-of-a-kind custom shop gun and see how it performs on paper. All right. We have to walk up. Let's just take one shot, see if we're lucky. Never works that way, right? Oh, not bad. High to the left. Oh, perfect. Maybe 1, 2 more clicks. So if you haven't shot the 6.5 Creedmoor before, You definitely owe it to yourself to get a gun chambered in it. It is a super elegant round, relatively low recoil for the speed that it's shooting. So on the Precision Hunter, it's clocking in at 2,700 feet per second. And obviously the aerodynamics of the bullet, you can zero this at 200 yards, have point blank range on a medium gain ammo out to 300 yards. It's definitely faster and flatter shooting than a 243. The recoil is a little bit more than a 243, but definitely not a 308 type recoil. So you compare this round to the 30 TC, and now you step up in performance. So a 30 caliber bullet is definitely more suited for medium game animals, mule deer, antelope, whitetails, and with the right grain bullet, you run a 165 in this, and you can absolutely go elk hunting with the 30 TC. So history being what it is, would Hornady have named the 6.5 Creedmoor the 6.5 TC? I don't know. But that doesn't mean that the 30 TC family is not going to be revisited and possibly added to in the future. All right, now that we have the scope sighted in, we're going to shoot a group at 100 yards to show you just how accurate the 6.5 Creedmoor can be. And then we're going to stretch out the gun to 200 yards. So ideally, this cartridge should be sighted in, zeroed at 200 yards, which is about 2 inches high at 100 and about 8 inches low at 300. So it gives you a point blank range of almost 300 yards without having to adjust your scope. And again, very light on recoil, very efficient, very aerodynamic bullet configuration, especially in the ELDX. Let's go shoot our group at 100 and just show you how accurate it is. Dead center. Could not be any more dead center than that. Let's see if that was luck or whether it was the gun and the cartridge. We're at about a ½ inch right now. Group size a little bit lower, but still touching. That's scary accurate. Scary accurate. Made a perfect triangle. Dead center, a little bit low to the right, a little bit low to the left, all touching. Definitely, I mean, it's a ½ inch group for sure. Maybe just a touch over, but not much. So now let's go stretch it out to 200 yards and see how just efficient it is. All right, 200 yards, first shot. 2 inches high at 100. Now we should be dead on it too. Whack. Perfect shot. 6.5 Creedmoor makes it look easy. Such an elegant, such an efficient cartridge. That 6.5 bullet is just fantastic, but it is part of the parent case of the 30 TC, as you can see right there. So would the 6.5 Creedmoor been named a 6.5 TC? They came out about the same time. I do know that we are going to revisit the 30 TC in the new Icon bolt action gun, as well as the Encore platform, and possibly some other configurations in this cartridge as well.